We have way too much shit. I don't even know how else to say it. There is absolutely no reason why this car should look like this. Do you think we have too much stuff?
I just think we need to consolidate better, and we will. When we get to the next place, we'll consolidate. I don't think we have a lot of stuff. But what do I know?
How are your feet doing?
They're fine.
Yeah, they got enough space, do
yes. Let's go get tea. I need my caffeine.
Oh, someone a little cranky? I think we both need more caffeine. All right, so the whole packing thing started a few weeks before we actually left, with us getting a hitch installed on Old Pearl and purchasing a bike rack that we were gonna put in said hitch. In theory, this was a great idea because it would allow us to have our bikes with us, so that way we could go for rides out west in the beautiful surroundings, and as a bonus, we would have a nice bike rack for a future vehicle because God knows we're not sure how long Pearl's gonna make it. Of course, it'd be less than 10 days before our attitudes about the bikes would change completely. And the bikes, which you never want your bike to get stolen, but like, I don't know, I kind of wouldn't hate it if it got stolen. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves quite yet. Like I said, at the time, the bikes were a good idea. Before we knew it, it was the days leading up to the trip, and all that was left now was to test out any new gear we had purchased, get it all packed into Pearl along with my clothing, and then head up to Karen's the night before we left to get all of her stuff packed. So, today is, what is today? Sunday, June 2nd, 2024. Tomorrow, June 3rd, Karen and I are setting out on the, as I'm calling it, the US leg of our world tour. I am currently on my way up to Karen's mom's house. We're gonna get the car packed tonight, and we're gonna hit the road tomorrow morning. And it's funny, like I never actually thought this day was gonna come. I mean, obviously I knew the date was gonna show up eventually, but I did not really think we'd be kind of leaving on schedule, or even that we'd be leaving. I mean, there's a part of me that kind of thought like the trip was just gonna get nixed, but it didn't. So as far as the packing goes, I've not seen what Karen has packed just yet. However, I have most of our like gear, and then obviously my clothes, and we're in pretty good shape, I have to say. Everything is pretty accessible. Nothing is like shoved into any kind of crevices or anything like that. We're in decent shape as far as that's concerned so far. We'll see what Karen has planned for us there.
Here's my suitcase. Somebody already zipped it up. Oh, they closed it too. I was gonna show you the inside. Not bad for 4 months. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I did sneak some more stuff in there this morning. Hopefully it's enough to get me by.
One thing I'm particularly excited that I have with me is my sourdough starter. At the height of the pandemic in May of 2020, I made my sourdough starter from scratch, for real. I'm not baking bread every week or anything, but I do enjoy it, and that was one thing I thought would be kind of interesting to do when we're on the road is make some bread, make some loaves across America. I don't like the way that just sounded. That didn't sound good. I'm hoping that everything she's packed is not going to turn this car into chaos, considering we're going to be living out of it for the next 4 months. So we shall see. As you'll soon see, we are both going to be to blame for that one.
You almost broke my wrist.
That would not have been a good way to start the trip.
Right. What the hell?
You're going to have to be careful with that thing, lady.
Hey, you're not sure much worth of stuff in here. As a little disclaimer, sorry if you see me wearing something more than one.
I chose to ignore that passive-aggressive comment. Anywho, we soldiered on with packing things into Pearl and getting all of our stuff together. If you've ever moved, then you know it's difficult to really grasp how much stuff you actually have until you start to pack it up. And as we were loading Pearl, we had convinced ourselves that shoving stuff into a 2015 Subaru Impreza just makes it look worse than it actually is. And we were pretty convinced of that until maybe about 5 minutes into being at our first accommodations in Ohio. 325 square feet. If you're gonna overpack, maybe don't book a tiny house as your first accommodation, but more on that later. Now, of course, we will be doing some cooking while we're on the road, and since we're not gonna be doing any camping on this particular adventure, the cooking supplies that we brought, though useful, are, let's say, bulky. Yeah, that is an air fryer, a rice cooker, a protein powder, coffee and tea, stuff. Now, you may be thinking, Brian, you are a logical, reasonable person. How on earth could you think packing a 2015 Subaru Impreza to the gills in any way going to make your life easier and be an efficient use of your space? I guess you could say it was delusion. We were excited about the impending trip, and as we said our goodbyes that morning, we really lived in that delusion as much as we possibly could. But as you could guess, that was all going to change very soon. I know, I definitely feel like I overpacked. I packed way too many clothes. And I am not an overpacker. This is really making me itchy. We have way too much shit. I don't even know how else to say it.
We have a lot of stuff, and that's
way too much shit.
I don't know.
Cannot stress
know
this enough.
I don't think it's too much.
And the bikes, which you never want your bike to get stolen. But like, I don't know. I kind of wouldn't hate it if it got stolen.